Never in my life have I been as scared for the well-being of my testicles as I was while watching this week's movie, Jackass Forever. It's Nerdy for 30. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you very much for tuning in to Nerdy for 30, the podcast where comedian Tim Keck and I talk about nerdy-ish things for 30-ish minutes. My name is Kevin Bauer. Today we're talking Jackass Forever with our pal, great friend of ours, great friend of the show, Mr. Spencer Pazer. Spencer, thank you for being here.
God bless you both.
As many blessings as we can fit. Man, my voice is a little bit blown out. We had a nice little boys' night last night. Went out and saw Jackass. Hit the bar afterwards. I'm screaming, I'm shouting. It's a loud place. It was a raucous good time. You two were shouting at each other the entire time before I even got there.
We were screaming at each other. Oh my God. I would say that your voice has extra timbre today, actually.
Ooh. Well, thank you. I'll take that.
Sultry.
Yeah.
You got a nice morning after tone in your
Exactly.
throat hole. Speaking of throat holes,
Oh my God.
this movie, I think this is probably the hardest I've ever laughed in a movie theater. I mean, I was dying the whole time. Everything they did was hilarious. This is the best movie I've ever seen. This deserves is there an Oscar for comedy? Is there an Oscar for what's the highest comedy honor that could be bestowed on a piece of film? And I use the term film with all the weight that it carries because this is a masterpiece. This is the highest art. I'll never be able to write a joke as funny as as Rachel Wolfson licking a taser. It was genius. This was absolute genius. This is the most fun I've had in a movie theater in I don't know how long. It was great.
I could not agree more. I feel like I was screaming the entire time. I was clapping during the film for like this. Just even like the setups got me going. Like when there was nothing to be laughing at. Just Johnny Knoxville handing a cup full of pig's to Chris Pontius, like with no direction whatsoever. Like everyone like groans when they say, "Oh, this is pig's," and apparently like pigs the most. It's like, and then they just hand it to Pontius, and you go, "Oh my God, he's just gonna drink that fucking cup of," and he does, and it's so fucking funny.
But that's the thing, man, is this movie is paying off tension that has been building for 20 years.
Yes.
These guys have proven to us that this is exactly who they are. This is exactly what they like to do. They're well-developed characters. So when we see him get handed that cup, the reason that the pit forms in all of our stomachs is because we know what happens next. I thought there was something beautiful in this movie about like when it starts up and we get the bit where they're doing the human ramp. It was like so silly, it was so light, it was so playful. These dudes are out there, they're like riffing and carrying on just like they have been for all the other movies so far. Their jokes are just a little bit different. They're talking shit on each other's bald spots, all that kind of stuff. But they've got the same energy. There's something beautiful about seeing these guys still doing it when they're 50. But I gotta ask, is it better for that? Or do you think that this movie is held back by the fact that these guys are in their 50s? We're a little bit more worried about their well-being. And we know that this is the last one. What do you think?
I think we cannot say for certainty that this is the last one.
Oh my God.
We absolutely can't. This was such a good time. They brought in a whole new crop of people. So I don't know. They're in their 50s now. Johnny Knoxville like broke his wrist on some stunt. Like they're taking big hits. But you're telling me Johnny Knoxville can't show up and do his thing and watch, I don't know, Zach Holmes fall off of something? Like they can do this. I think in this movie they've matured a bit and they've taken a step back. Johnny Knoxville does like 3 stunts in the whole movie. He does like the 3 hardest, most badass stunts in the whole thing.
Yeah,
and then he just sits back and just he's the straw that stirs the drink, man. He builds all the tension. He like has everybody going. He's like tasing people all the time. Like he's just the ringleader for this insane circus. And I don't know why Johnny Knoxville couldn't keep doing that for 10 more years, you know?
Oh
He's
my
got so
god.
much credibility built up. He could stop doing stunts and just being the guy that fucks with everybody on set. I mean, I don't know. Do you think he would have the same clout in a future movie if he goes from the 3 stunts he did to like 1 or 0 stunts?
I would say yes. I mean, at this point, let's see. Like, he broke his dick in the last movie when a fucking motorcycle landed on his dick. He had a catheter in for 2 years. He's had multiple concussions. He in this movie he got hit by that bull so hard he was knocked out cold. He was lucky he did not die from that bull. I mean, the man's already built for so much respect. And to Kevin's question earlier, like, does them being older add to it in a way? Like, I say 100%. Yeah, this is like when you watched Star Wars as a kid and you were like, I can't wait to see it as an adult and like see what they come up with now. Except with except this is like all the idiots, all the people who've been like smashing their head into a wall or like getting shit thrown at them or like whatever. Like, it's just like you're already with these characters. You're already with like the torture that they experience, and you can't wait to see them experience more. Like, there's something about like I definitely felt more nostalgic for watching some of the original guys get fucked with than the newer guys. Even though the newer people got some good licks in the movie, it was just so much more satisfying to see like Steve-O get a beehive hang from his dick, or the intro, like Chris Pontius, like the whole miniature set where they just make Chris Pontius' dick Godzilla. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh man, dude, I'm glad you said that too because we're at a place where ostensibly Jackass as a franchise is set up in such a wonderful place. Where if you look at the production value on the stunts they were doing in this movie, unparalleled. The quality of the high speed cameras so that you can get
Yes.
the true look of terror on Aaron's face as
Yeah.
a heavyweight champion is like throwing a fist towards his balls. Um, it's nuts. They have better equipment than ever before. The franchise
It's
itself, like
nuts.
it can pay for itself to have that high level of production. The one thing that I think might kind of be holding it back, and I will, completely back down on this if the next movie is incredible, but that the people they added were pretty good, but they didn't have the same chemistry as the original crew of dudes from Jackass. And I think it's that they were friends before they did the show. Like they were friends that kind of like met and hung out doing this kind of shit. Whereas the people they've added to the crew, I don't know if they hang out with the Jackass crew. I don't know if they're basically tapped for like videos that they've done, like Zach. But it's something where I feel like you can feel the chemistry of these dudes just being friends in the early Jackass stuff. Like they were already a friend group. And you feel that same energy in like Loiter Squad with Odd Future. Like you can tell that they're just friends. They're hanging out.
There's I think to that point, Jackass I know was started because like excuse me. To that point, Jackass was founded by essentially getting a bunch of these different groups together, right? Like Steve-O kind of like watched one of their shows and was like, "Hey, I would love to do that with you." I'm pretty sure Dave and Aaron came like as a package together. Bam came with what's his face, right? Like I think Johnny Knoxville was like added after, like he was doing his own thing. So I think it is kind of like this amalgamation of guys who were kind of in the same space that have like kind of a weird shared experience. And like Zach Holmes, I feel like is fits flawlessly into that. He's got a Jackass tattoo on his chest. Like he idolizes these guys. I think there's a little difference between like looking up to somebody and like being a friend and a peer with them. But I think that's something that I wouldn't be surprised if in the second movie they're better friends with Zach Holmes and there's more I mean,
Yeah.
the chemistry in this is what makes it. And this is what makes it a good movie. And set like they sell everything because every stunt they do, the entire rest of the crew is there to watch and support and laugh and troll and talk shit. And it seems like the most dangerous set to be on while somehow being also the most supportive set in the world. It seems like the most straight up supportive environment. Like, we're going to torture you, but afterwards we're going to be there to pick you up and talk about how great it was. And like, the chemistry makes it. I think the chemistry makes it. I think the chemistry sells things. I can't stop thinking about in like the credits, they kind of do like a rapid fire, like all these kind of stunts that didn't really make it. And we've been dying at stuff where the stakes are so high. People are getting
Yeah.
punched in the dick, which is like there's nothing higher for a man in the injury space. The penis and balls are like the stakes can't get higher. This is the most pain any man could possibly experience. And then I laugh just as hard at that guy coming out of the trailer dressed like like a fast food guy
like
in
a
the
carnival.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just has a bunch of milkshakes and he puts a foot on the steps and goes right through them and the steps just collapse and he just splashes milkshake on his chest and the rest of the cast is there. They all know what's going to happen and they're all dying laughing. I was like, how are they selling me on this guy spilling a milkshake on himself as funny as, I don't know, the three-way wedgie? Like,
Oh,
My
this is
God, the
crazy.
three-way
How are they
wedgie.
doing that? But I think it's the chemistry. I think the chemistry like is the movie. I think the chemistry has become Jackass. Like, it's not it's not the same, you know, without it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
it fosters this like environment of expectation that like gets you in the mood for what you're about to see. Like it's not random and it doesn't feel like necessarily like as like mean or mean spirited. It's like it's for it's all for fun, like it's torture, like you're saying, but it's also like nurturing and fostering. And but it's been like that for since the beginning. So like okay, so this is the fourth movie. Um and the third one came out 10 years ago, I want to say.
2010.
Yeah.
2010. Okay, so I saw the third one in theaters. I remember I have a very specific memory of seeing the third one in theaters for the following reasons. I was living in LA at the time, and I went to the Grove with my buddy Steve, and we sat in one of the big theaters in the Grove. It was full. It was like opening night, so it was like 500 people, and like there's just like already a buzz in the theater. Like people are like chatting, like they're knowing what to expect, and it's got this like mood that like lifts everyone up already, just because you're like you know what to get. So and then at one point, about 10 minutes before the previews start, this guy gets up in the front of the theater, and he's walking towards the exit, and he turns to the audience and he just screams out. He goes, "Hey, I'm going to the concession stand. Does anybody want anything?" And it's like it seems like a bit, and so people are just like, "Yeah, like Sour Patch Kids, M&Ms," like they're just yelling shit out. And he's like, "Got it." And he goes away, and like everyone forgets about it. And like 10 minutes later, this guy comes back in and goes, "Who asked for the Sour Patch Kids?" And he just starts throwing these bags of candy that people asked for
Oh my
into
God.
the audience. And it was like there's no other environment, there's no other like film or event that would get people in the mood to do that for each other. And I was just like, and I've never experienced it before or since then, and only in a Jackass setting. And I think it is specifically because of the environment that the show like puts out there, like that we're all gonna enjoy this together and like in nonstop. And then like, oh, it was great. I'll never forget. I literally would never forget that story, that moment with that guy just throwing candy onto the audience.
That's amazing.
I love that. I love that. it
Yeah.
it feels like, to be like mega comedy nerd for a minute. I think there's like kind of this like whole theory on like comedy that it's all about status. And so people laugh because of like status changes, right? Like we make fun of celebrities because they're higher status than us. And if we make fun of them, then they like level out. I'm doing a thing with my hands where I'm like holding them parallel and raising
Yeah.
and lowering them to illustrate my point. But like if somebody's high status, we make fun of them to like return them to like lower their status to us, you know? Or if like other examples, like if somebody trips and falls, you laugh at them not to like make them lower status, but to let them know it's okay and return them back to like even status, you know?
Oh,
And it seems like that's kind of like the Jackass vibe is like you just got knocked off this thing and we're all laughing at you, but they're all laughing in the way that is like, oh, we love and support you and you are one of us now.
yeah,
Like
and
the
that would
dumber,
happen. Yeah, and that would happen to all of us if we were in that circumstance.
yeah, everybody, like anybody, and any celebrity who's like not of their world that shows up, and Tyler the Creator like getting his ass shocked 3 times just has so much cred with them.
Yeah,
You know, they're
Mhm.
just like, and they're nice about it. They're like, it's not too bad. Like you can back off if you want, but it's just like they're just like it's crazy. It's crazy how they get you to do stuff, and like it's this weird gaslighting, toxic masculinity, like circling culture that is somehow like the epitome of like beautiful male friendship, right? In like its most crass way, right? It's like I'm gonna punch you in the nuts and then I'm gonna help you up. And then if you hit me in the nuts later, you're gonna help me up. You know, it's
Yeah.
yeah,
like
it really is like childish in so many ways, but it's like it's
so
beautiful.
childish.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we have anything negative to say about this entire experience whatsoever.
No.
I got nothing.
Can we, speaking of nuts, can we talk Rachel Wolfson?
Yes.
Because she is amazing.
Hmm.
She's so good. I was just reading this thing with her this morning where she was talking about being a part of the Jackass crew, and she's the first woman to like be involved in these stunts. And it sounds like they wanted her, but she was kind of like, none of us were sure how this would work
Uh-huh.
because the show is a bunch of guys hitting each other in the dick. What can I do? And she was just saying in this thing I was reading that like her one rule for herself was I cannot cry. At no point in this can I cry. If I
Wow.
cry, I'm gonna lose like cry. All I have to do is not cry, and I will be a badass. And then she's like, I guess one of the first stunts she did was lick the taser.
Oh my God.
And she's like, all I have to don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. She licks the taser, and she's just like the overwhelming support from everybody there when I did that was like, she's just like the best feeling in the world. You know, she's just like hyping it up as this crazy thing. But like there's a moment in it where there's a scorpion on her chest, and Chris Pine, she's like, get it off, get it off. And Chris Pine is like, I need consent before I can grab. She's like, consent, consent. Like, I have consent. But like,
That was
there are
fantastic.
these kind of, there's this kind of like weird friction that I guess I hadn't really thought about of like, as the target demographic for Jackass, like, it is like a boys club, right? It is kind of like like guys being guys at like the grossest level. So like, it seemed like Rachel was there for some stuff, not there for other stuff, but she's like absent from the on-set tasing and like pushing, like she's a part of the cast, but she can't be because of like the gender differences, I guess, and just like how to navigate that. I don't know. I guess I'm just throwing that out as a concept. If you guys had any thoughts of like, she's so good. Like she is a star, I think. Her and Zach Holmes and Poopy, I thought were
Oh
my
my God.
favorite people in this thing. And I'm like, these guys could be the next Jackass crew, but I don't know how it works if Rachel is like a part-timer, you know? Is there a way to like fully integrate her into this cast, like if they do another one?
Yeah. You get more women.
Would it work like this, or is there a way to like, I don't know, integrate women into an environment where at any moment on set someone could come up and tase you or punch you in the nuts
Or shave your head.
Absolutely it is.
or
Absolutely.
shave your head, right? Like
Yeah.
that joke does not play as well if someone comes up and shaves Rachel's head. Are you kidding me? Wee Man's like got the
Absolutely
shortest
plays
hair
as
I've
well.
ever
What are you talking
seen.
about?
I think she would react way more negatively than a guy with a buzz cut.
See, I think that's an assumption. I think that kind of an assumption is exactly the thing that creates that friction on set. She was unfucking flappable.
Yeah, she
So I
was.
think it's the assumption, if the assumption is that, like, well, we can't have women because they would react negatively to something like that, that's a generalization where Rachel proved this entire movie that she's game. Like, she's there for it.
I
There
think
are
so.
other people. It's a personality thing. So it's just bringing more people in. I would not react well. I would react
Oh
so much
no.
worse than Wee Man did if somebody shaved the back off my head. So
Yeah.
like, I'm a man, but I would not react well in that situation. It's just a matter of finding people, regardless of what their gender is, that fit in that zone.
That's
She's
a
a
good point.
perfect match. There's more people out there. Like, there's more women out there that are matches like her. So we just got to get more of them in. I don't know what the equivalent is. I've heard of like, I remember in high school gym class, we would always be talking about like if a dude got hit in the nuts with a dodgeball, I'd be talking to like friends that are girls and trying to find the equivalency, they would always say it's kind of like getting hit in the boob, maybe. So maybe that's the thing. It's like there's like other women on set, and instead of getting hit in the nuts, they're like slapping each other in the chest or something like that. But that spirit is definitely there, and it's, I don't know. I definitely think the answer is get more women in here.
I think it's possible, but I don't. I was thinking specifically with women, like they wouldn't shave Chris Pontius's head because he's like got a foot of hair. You know, it's just such an insult. I don't know. The time invested in his bit is so much worse than Wee Man's or like Bam getting like 3 inches shaved off.
Yeah.
But like I just don't see any world in which Johnny Knoxville feels comfortable running up to Rachel and tasing her when she's like watching another stunt, which is kind of like the dangerous vibe they cultivate on everything else.
I think he would do it.
Yeah. And I think as that's the kind of comfort we're talking about, where it's like as the chemistry increases with this crew of people, ostensibly, maybe the next movie he feels comfortable doing that. Because I don't know if they're like hanging out, if he's ever like how much time they spent together before being on the set with each other. But I think she more than proved in this movie that she can fucking hang. So I would hope that by the next movie he feels comfortable just randomly tasing her.
Yeah, I have seen there is such a thing as like mixed tag matches, like in professional wrestling, where like a man and a woman wrestle a man and a woman. And at like indie shows, you'll get a man straight up just like body slamming a woman. And I saw one like a year or two ago, and it was like the most jarring fucking thing. And then you saw like how game the woman was, and you're just like, she's like kicking ass. Like, I don't know. There's a way to pull it off, but there's just, I don't know. I think initially it's just such a hard hurdle to overcome. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited were you guys to see Machine Gun Kelly?
I
You know what I was excited about to see Machine Gun Kelly is I didn't realize before this movie that dude is a fucking string bean. I had no idea.
Yeah.
He looks like you.
is yeah, I am the skinniest person I have ever met. Like I am 6'5", I am 160 pounds. I looked up Machine Gun Kelly's height and weight. He is 6'4", 167. So we're functionally like, I know he's got a little more muscle than me.
Yeah,
but
you're
like,
of
we're
the same
functionally
ilk.
the same build.
I'd pay for that celebrity boxing match. Kevin versus
I would
Machine
for
Gun
sure.
Kelly.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? He's got tattoos. He would kick my ass.
Yeah. He's got that the 7-pound weight difference is all the ink in his skin.
Yeah.
But I think he reacted about as negatively as I would getting hit with something like that too. Like he seemed like he was like, oh yeah, I can fucking take this. And then he gets hit by the hand and he crumpled, man.
It seemed that he was more
That
bothered
still looks
by
doable.
it seemed that he was more bothered by the cold water. Like it sounded like that they kept the pool really cold. So as soon as they got hit, I remember they both went in. They were like, "Holy shit, it was so cold," and that seemed to be what Machine Gun was all worked up about. But I was, wait. So what were your favorite bits from the movie?
See, I wanted to ask too what stunts you guys would do and what stunts you guys would not do.
Oh God.
Interesting.
Maybe like along with your favorite, is there a line of like what you would do or what you wouldn't do? Like I feel like the hand thing with Machine Gun Kelly, I would do that. I would do all the things they have celebrities doing, like Tyler the Creator getting his ass shocked. I'm like, I would do that. But it's like, dressing my balls up like a Godzilla monster and having a turtle bite it. I'm like, I think that's where I would draw a pretty strong line, but with all the nut stuff.
Yeah, no way. That's a repertory cast bit. You don't bring a guest on for that one.
Would be so. How funny would it be if it was Tyler the Creator's dick?
The turtle really got a hold of his dick though. That was
Yeah.
painful looking.
Yeah.
I think it was a snapping turtle.
It was a baby snapping
It looked
turtle.
like it, yeah.
Oh fuck.
Which is just like that mouth is just a knife. Like he probably had a hole in his dick. Oh God.
Spencer, what other animals would you fuck with on Jackass or not fuck with?
I would have done the vulture bit. As a bird person, I would have been excited for the vulture bit.
Really? The vulture, its aim was sloppy.
It was sloppy.
Like Wee Man had some like scratches on him.
Yeah, he definitely got nicked because it was nervous, so it was just like it was going in really quick. That thing's beak is enormous, so yeah, he probably got a couple of nicks from it. I mean, Wee Man's face in that segment was beet red, like because you had his whole body and his face. He was desperate to get out of that situation. But I think I might do that.
Of the animal bits, yeah, I think that one's up there. There's no way I would do the spider bit. The fangs on that fucking spider, there absolutely no way.
See, I would do the spider over the scorpion for sure. I think with confidence, I would do the whole spider bit before I do the scorpion bit.
Would you do the bear bit though?
Oh. No.
I think I would do the bear bit. I think
you would do the bear bit?
Yeah, I mean, you see all these videos of like bears being like friendly and people wrestling with bears and stuff. And I don't know, I think it'd be scary, but I think it'd be kind of fun. They're not gonna let a bear eat you, you know?
I mean, no, but also it's a bear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
Shit goes wrong on these sets, and the animal handler was like, yeah, I gotta go in. Like it hit a point where the animal handler was like,
yeah.
The animal handler came in with a chain as a collar. Yeah. Like that thing.
But he was still like just a human guy who walked up to the bear and put a chain around his neck real chill. It was like
true.
But there were moments where the bear's just licking his like nuts through this thing. I was like, that's probably when I would be like, okay, this is unacceptable. I can't possibly. Once the bear's like tasting me, it's like this is not good.
Well, that's the thing too, is that I think my line for my favorite bits, it's all the stuff that I never in a million years would do. Like my absolute favorite was the succession of nut shots that Aaron was subjected to. It was so funny. And the fact that by the time the pogo stick showed up, the entire crowd in our theater was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. It's so funny that it escalated. And then the final one was just a pogo stick. And that was by far the scariest one. Yeah. It's like the ebb and flow of the Jackass sketches. It's like a master stand-up comic where it's like one-liners, it's zingers. And when they're not zinging you, they're building tension for the next thing, which Johnny Knoxville is just the absolute master of. Like Kevin pointed out, there was like the skateboard guillotine where they hoist it up a little bit and they're like, this is how far it goes. And then Johnny Knoxville's like, nah, and just cranks it up like 3 more feet. And then we're all like, I'm like, that doesn't seem too bad. And then he drops it and the sound it makes, Steve-O's eyes get so big. Like, oh my fucking God. This is going to be a nightmare.
And then he goes under that. He goes under that with such confidence. He puts his legs down there. For the listeners, I mean, you've obviously, if you're listening, you've seen this. He takes the skateboard to the shins, but he gets under that guillotine like with like a fucking champ. He positions like, and he goes, and Johnny Knoxville was like on 3, and then just lets it go right away.
Man. That's the one where I was like, I would never fucking do this. That's the one where I was like, that sucks so hard. Punch me in the dick before you do this shin skateboard thing.
Dude, you know what?
That would hurt so bad.
At the end of the day, that is a perfect encapsulation of Jackass. They've been doing it for 20 years. They know how to fuck with each other. It doesn't take a lot. Everything about that was like a pretty simple bit, but Steve-O was there. He was game for it. They're having a good time together. And you know what? We had a great time watching it. And I hope you had a great time listening. Sure. This has been Nerdy for 30. Find us on Spotify. Wherever you're currently listening to us, that's where you can find us. Give us a rating. Rate us 5 stars, why don't you?
Oh my God, you're on Spotify? What, do you have no morals? Jesus.
Okay, come on.
We're supporting Joe Rogan. Thanks for being here, Spencer. Spencer, what's your new Instagram?
Oh, yeah, it's called What's That Over There? It's all bird photos.
Amazing.
Check it out if you love Wee Man getting attacked by vultures.
Yeah.
And stay nerdy, friends. Bye.
Bye.